The Talmud tells us, Im yesh Torah bagoyim, if somebody comes to you and says, there is Torah amongst the nations of the world, al tamin, don't believe it. Torah was given exclusively to the Jewish people. But if somebody comes to you and says, yesh chochma bagoyim, there is great wisdom amongst the nations of the world, certainly you must believe it. And therefore the sages would seek out different nations and different cultures to see what we could learn from them. And in one place, Rebbe Akiva says, I admire the Madi'im. The Madi'im are the medians. I admire them, and he listed 3 things that they did in particular, which he was impressed with. And one of the things that the medians used to do is yo'atzim besadeh. When they had to consult one another on a very delicate matter, they would go out into the field and consult one another. They wouldn't stay in a room, because as the famous statement goes, and there's a similar saying in Hebrew, yesh oznaim lekotel, the walls have ears. If you speak to somebody about a private matter and you're in some type of a building, there's always the possibility that somebody is overhearing. So the medians, when they had some serious business to discuss, they would go out into the fields. And the Talmud tells us that this is in fact a principle that we can learn from this week's parsha. Yaakov was living in the house of his father-in-law Lavan, and Lavan was a complete swindler, took advantage of Yaakov at each and every turn. And Yaakov was desperate. He couldn't stay in this house anymore. It was negative for him. It was negative for his family. He wanted to go. But first, of course, he had to consult with his wives, with Rachel and Leah. So it says that he called them to the field where he was working with his flock. Why to the field? He didn't want anybody to overhear. And there he could have a proper discussion with his wives and ask them, what do you think we should do? This is the way your father's been treating me. What do you think? And they absolutely agreed. We have to move, we have to go. And this teaches us such an important lesson. You know, today we have social media. There's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's emails, whatever it may be, Instagram. And people are putting all types of private and delicate information in the public thoroughfare, in the public sphere. Why do they do such a thing? Yoatzim besadeh. You want to say something private, you want to keep something that's delicate to yourself, do it in a private way. Go out somewhere. Speak on neutral territory. Because you never know when somebody else is overhearing, and that they can take that information and they can use that information against you in the worst possible way. So this is a lesson that we learn from the wisdom of the nations of the world, from the medians. If you're going to seek counsel and it's something delicate, go out. Make sure that no one can hear you. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.